Our presenter tonight is Liz Kreitinger from the Cuba Lake Watershed Network. She's going to give us some updates and maybe some sneak previews of possible future efforts. Take it away.
Great, thanks, Roxy. Let me get set up here. Okay, are you looking at just a slide?
Yep. Yes, looks good.
Okay, great. Just get your little faces moved out of the way here. Okay, great. So hi, everyone, and thanks so much to CWIO for inviting me to provide you all with some updates from the Cuba Lake Watershed Network. I know that I have had a chance to meet many of you, but there are some new faces here. Many of you are probably familiar with some of the work and programs of the Cuba Lake Watershed Network, but of course we have a lot going on and a lot happening. So I'm going to provide sort of a brief overview of our organization to kick it off tonight, and then highlight some emerging initiatives and potential opportunities for CWIO and network collaboration. This won't be an exhaustive overview of our programs, but something that will hopefully give you guys something to think about over the next few months. So the Cuba Lake Watershed Network is an independent grassroots nonprofit organization, and just last year we had our 25th anniversary. Our mission is to advocate for the health of Cuba Lake and its watershed in a changing world. And the challenges that our watershed faces, of course, come in many forms, from climate change to invasive species, land use change, and pollution. So to meet those challenges, we need this network of individuals and institutions and communities, all united in the protection of our region's water resources. So that is no small task here, but towards these goals, our work includes three important areas, which are education, community engagement, and advocacy. And we believe strongly that the first two are critical to doing the latter successfully. So we keep busy by organizing two free community conferences each year, as well as timely events in response to current interest and issues throughout the watershed. We maintain a website that is really rich in information, so rich that it is a challenge to sometimes keep up to date on, so we do our best. But there's a lot in there if you haven't explored it before. We also produce 2 to 4 network newsletters each year. It'll probably be sticking at a cadence of about 2 per year, given the amount of work that needs to go into these, and that we've been ramping up sort of our digital communications over the last few years. So those network newsletters are available free online, and they have more in-depth stories, and we've had great cooperation with CWIO in the past. Sometimes CWIO members and leaders will submit articles for inclusion in those, and we're looking to highlight good work going on in the watershed and important issues. So if you're ever interested in reaching our members, any of the CWIO representatives, I would invite them to reach out to me if you think you have a topic that would be interesting to share there. And we maintain an active email list of over 1,500 people now, and share resources all the time in social media for stuff that needs to get out more quickly. So we also provide and promote volunteer opportunities throughout the watershed. We sponsor the Citizen Statewide Lake Assessment Program for Cuba Lake with multiple sites. That's long-term monitoring. Importantly, we will develop science-backed positions of issues of concern facing our watershed, much like CWIO. We continue to work together with you all on those positions. So, hot off the press, the newest edition of Network News was published today online. So this is the summer edition for 2024, and it will be mailed to our members in the coming weeks if you prefer to enjoy things offline. And just to give you a sense, if you haven't met myself in person or Molly already, this is our mighty staff team of 2. And the network, of course, is more than just Molly and I. It's also our board of directors who are both guiding the organization and helping to facilitate and run our programs. So you may know some of these folks or hopefully meet them soon if you have not. So who else is the network, right? It's made up of our hundreds of members and volunteers, you know, some of which you all are. And beyond that is also the engaged community around Cayuga Lake and the folks who are interested and show up and will participate in the conversation and actions to benefit the health of our watershed. Like CWIO, we cooperate with a lot of partner organizations, including state, county, and municipal governments and the soil and water conservation districts. This is just some news here. So you saw Wells College on the last screen. That is where our office has been since 2008. And so just recently, the Cayuga Lake Watershed Network has a new home, and we are located at the Cayuga Nature Center. So we had a slightly disrupted spring, but we're getting back into the swing of things from our new location. And I'm pretty sure that you all, if you haven't been to the Cayuga Nature Center before, hopefully you will soon, because CWIO will be hosting the September meeting there. Okay, so we have 3 initiatives that are under development, which I wanted to share with you today. These aren't things that have been rolled out yet, but I want to highlight them because we're quite committed to the idea of these projects, and perhaps there's ways that, you know, the network and CWIO can work together to make them a reality. They are the return of the Lake Friendly Living, or sorry, the Lake Friendly Farming Award for Cayuga Lake Watershed. Initiative for grassroots funding of sediment and nutrient reduction projects, including specifically a pilot for Seneca County, and our Embrace the Lake program, and increased focus on litter cleanups with sort of a municipal focus based on some successful programs that we've seen over the last few years. And after that, I'll just continue with a few announcements and happenings. So first is this return of the very popular Lake Friendly Farming Award. This was, actually, I don't know the year that it was initiated, but it was going on for quite a few years and sort of tailed off in around 2008, 2009. And you can see that Hosmer, here's a photo just from Hosmer Winery, who are, you know, still, Cameron Hosmer and the team are still proudly displaying this Lake Friendly Farming sign. And we've been talking about reinvigorating this with the goal of recognizing farms in the watershed, implementing best management practices that, you know, go beyond just sustainable food production and also aim to protect our soil and water resources, to promote healthy ecosystems and wildlife in the watershed. It's a way for the community to publicly thank these farmers who are and provide them with some reputational value for their efforts. And it would also provide other farmers with examples of success at implementing BMPs that maintain or increase profit while protecting the environment. So this is in the works. It's a really serious interest of our current board chair, David Wolf, and hopefully with a little more time in the next year, he will be able to work with us and other board members and some representatives from the agricultural community to bring this thing back to life. Because we do get questions. I get emails, you know, a few every summer usually, asking us if this is still a program going on from interested farms. So that is something we're looking at. Okay, the second initiative is grassroots funding for sediment and nutrient reduction projects, focused on a pilot project in Seneca County. So let's see. Basically from like the farmers who are making use of cover crops and precision fertilizer applications to, homeowners growing vegetation buffers along streams, to those who are investing in septic system maintenance, to everyone who's just adopting lake-friendly living practices. We know that everyone can help reduce nutrients flowing into our lake. And there's a lot of work being done, but there's a whole lot more to do. And in conversations with the soil and water conservation districts, we have begun to understand that one of the most productive ways that Cuba Lake Watershed Network can contribute to the expedited progress of impactful projects that might otherwise be passed over is creating a funding program to help with local match costs. So a lot of these programs that get funded by the state require 25% match, for the soil and water conservation districts. So hopefully with technical support from CWIO and the watershed manager as a collaborative partner in this endeavor, we're looking to moving forward with working at this pilot project in 2025 in Seneca County with the hopes of really establishing a protocol and a system that works for our organization and can be expanded watershed wide in the coming years. And this is like a major capital campaign project, right? Or would hopefully grow into one. So we have to do some discussion on the back end of what actually, works for our organization in terms of fundraising, but there may be also opportunities for CWIO to participate in that or have some synergistic activity. So we've talked to, Roxy and Isaac and others, Darby, about this a bit. And that conversation will continue. All right. So the third is the Embrace the Lake program. So since 2009, there's been a real focus on kind of expanding this Embrace the Lake litter cleanup program. I think it was going on long before that, just in a less formal way. But from March to May, we work with churches and scout groups and community groups and families to organize cleanup events, to clean up roadside ditches and waterways and get the trash out of our lake. And there are a few things I've found in this watershed protection work that are as immediately rewarding as cleaning out the damn ditch, right? So this is something that gets people together. And I think it's a starting off point for a lot of people for further maybe interest and attention to, oh, what is the role of these ditches as waterways in our watershed? And wow, like learning more about microplastic pollutions and thinking more about sustainability in their own lives. So there's a lot of benefits to these, including just community cleanup. And I'm just highlighting here on the slide some of the groups that we've worked with. We've had 12+ groups over the last few years participating, so the network will provide the cleanup supplies and whatever support organizing these events a group might need. Helping advertise and highlight this is a watershed-wide action that we can all take. But the Newfield Green Up Day is worth highlighting because one, organizer along with everyone else who supported the event have managed to grow this thing into, 50 first year. A few years ago, it was 50 volunteers. Last year, it was 70+ volunteers, I think, showed up, and they cleaned up 1,600+ pounds of trash out of the Newfield roadside ditches and right away. So if this is something that your community is bringing up, if there are problem points that are being identified, whether it's, this all started by conversations that were happening on Facebook, and a volunteer who said, look, I came from Vermont and there's a statewide program for Green Up Days. And he brought some of the tools that he learned through participating in those programs in Vermont and has implemented them in Newfield and just continues to grow. And it's with the support of the municipality, and he has done this amazing job documenting the entire process of like the permissions needed and the protocols and the announcements and just the whole approach. So we really want to use this, tool to invite other municipalities or volunteers who would like to develop a green up day or embrace the lake event or whatever you want to call it, right? A litter cleanup for your community to work with us and, meet with this volunteer who organized the program. His name is Mitch Raymond, and learn a little bit about how to make this happen, because it's really excellent to see people come together in this way, and it's an opportunity to teach more about the watershed and watershed health. So that's my pitch on cleaning out the ditch. Besides those 3 initiatives, I just have a few announcements I want to make on sort of recent activity from the network. We were very pleased to recognize Erin Parazzini, the director of the Seneca County Soil and Water Conservation District, with the James C. White Memorial Award at our community conference in Canoga earlier this spring. And we're just really grateful. She's played a lot, in addition to all her endeavors with the Soil and Water Conservation District, Erin has been a great supporter of the Lake Friendly Living program, which is a growing initiative across the Finger Lakes, but specifically in the Cuba Lake watershed. Each watershed organization has their own, version of this program. And she's helped put a lot of the content together for that, and been a sponsor of it since the beginning. So check out our recognition in this new edition of Network News if you want to learn a little bit more about that. It's published online now. And related, tomorrow at our annual picnic, we will be giving the Dave Morehouse Award. It's very relevant to CWIO because throughout his life, David Morehouse worked to protect Cuba Lake, including serving as a founding member for both the Cuba Lake Watershed Network and the Cuba Lake Watershed Intermunicipal Organization. And together, I wasn't there, but I have learned that together our 2 organizations created the Dave Morehouse Award in 2003 to honor his contributions and to recognize others who have made a difference in protecting our water resources. So we will be recognizing a CWIO representative for decades of service and leadership. I'm not going to tell you who right now. You'll have to come to the picnic tomorrow and wait to hear about it, but we're really looking forward to that. I'll give you the details on the event at the end of this talk. A quick update about our Northern Tributaries Water Quality Monitoring Program. So this was going on, we're sort of paused sampling right now because we've completed about 3 years of sampling at 6 streams with high frequency sampling. So this is the northern tributaries were historically understudied, and residents and network members who became community scientists through working with CSI have led this project over the last several years, focused on measuring stormwater runoff. And the really unique thing about this project was that they were pairing nutrient sampling from the creeks with microbial source tracking data that was sampled at the same time, so we can better understand the relationship between, ruminant biomarkers, human biomarkers, avian biomarkers with the nutrients that are moving through our tributaries. So that was in cooperation with SUNY ESF. And right now there's analysis underway on the data, and the reports and outreach will be coming soon. This was funded through the Emerson Foundation, the Seneca County Board of Supervisors, and private donations. So we're really excited to be moving forward to the next phase of that project. And I hope that in the next 6 months, we'll have a substantial update for you all about the results. Okay, and lastly, I want to say that our reach is growing. So at any given time, we have between 350 and 400 members. But our community conferences, last 3 I've been involved with, have been very well attended. There's been a lot of interest. We're working to find, larger spaces at times, and the municipal talks that we've had. So we had Supervisor Jeff Trout at the most recent conference, and before, so he was highlighting the septic and utility upgrade systems projected for Town of Fayette. And before that, we had some similar talks for Cuyahoga County. Those have been very popular. So I hope that we can continue to focus on some of these municipal stories, either upcoming projects or projects that have been recently completed, because I think it's really important to highlight those. And then also, we can continue to do that through our digital communications. So between 2023 and 2024, just in the last year, our HABs, so we do a weekly HABs newsletter in cooperation with the Community Science Institute. And we've gone from about 900 subscribers to over 1,500 subscribers, right? So that's growing pretty quickly. And the same goes for the monthly e-news that we've started to do, which we weren't doing before, but that started out with about 1,000 people and is now also about 1,500. So, and there's a lot of folks watching the content come through on Facebook as well. So let's keep working together to highlight what's going on in the watershed and what's needed. Here's just, oh, sorry, it's a little bit blurry, isn't it? But that harmful algal bloom newsletter, just recently in the last few weeks, we've highlighted everything from the Wasco Lake Watershed rules and regs issues and the ongoing challenges with the Department of Health around that, to some good news about the recently funded projects to improve water quality in the Cuyahoga Lake watershed, from the expanded cover crop funding for Seneca and Cuyahoga County soil and water conservation districts, the Burroughs Creek stabilization project, and forest riparian buffers, and vernal pools funding for Cortland County soil and water. So we're just trying to put some added value into these, beyond just the HABs trends for this season, because that was the that's always the biggest thing, is people see the trends and say, but what's being done? And the answer is a lot's being done, but a whole lot more is needed, right? So that's what we're continuing to highlight through those newsletters. So please stay connected. Our annual picnic is tomorrow. It's okay if you didn't RSVP and want to join us. It'll be in Cuyahoga County, so it's at the Apple Station Winery from 6 to 8 p.m. And it's current or prospective members who want to get to know our organization a little bit better, and connect with like-minded folks who care a lot about Cuyahoga Lake and its watershed. Can join us. We'll have dinner and that award. So there's that coming up. We also have we'll have our Cuyahoga Lake Hydrilla Task Force Public Information Center information session later in the fall. We haven't scheduled that yet. And then also our South End Community Conference later in the year. So stay tuned for updates about when those events will be. And finally, our annual campaign is ongoing, so please consider generously supporting, our watershed work at cuyahogalake.org. We are a grassroots membership-based organization, and it is the community support that makes everything possible for what we do. So I really would appreciate if you consider supporting our work this year. And thank you to CWIO for inviting me to share some updates.
Thanks. Thanks very much, Liz. That's exciting. That's a lot. Do you guys ever get to sleep?
It's been a lot. It's been a pretty busy spring. Moving the office in the middle of all this was
Oh yeah.
a little challenging. We are still settling in from that. If anyone has secretarial skills and wants to help us set up the files, let me know.
Sounds good. So yeah, I'm excited to get the big reveal on the award tomorrow. So Darby and I are carpooling up. I know some others will be able to go. Excited to just hear some more about what's going on and meet some more of your members, talk to your board members, and also definitely looking forward to exploring this funding program and possibilities for us to work together. You know, since the beginning of time for the network and CWIO, we've been trying to find an effective way to operate as sister organizations. Maybe this will be it. It sounds very promising. Any other questions for Liz? Anyone want to get on the list for a giant trash pickup?
That was kind of inspirational. I was down in Trumansburg Creek just a little bit ago, and it was unbelievable how much trash was in the creek, and you could see exactly where it was coming from too. So yeah, inspirational indeed.
All right. All right. So you've given the information about tomorrow's meeting. And then you mentioned, and I did too earlier, that the September meeting, September meeting will be in person at the Nature Center, like Liz said. It's at an earlier time, like our last in-person meeting. It'll be from 3 to 5 for the meeting with an hour social time afterwards, with some food. There's trails there, some interesting exhibits. But I think Liz had mentioned before, and probably they could still use this before we go there for our meeting. There might be a desire to have volunteers to come help do a cleanup and maybe even some painting. Would that still be helpful?
That's right. Yeah. CNC could use a bit of a scrub, especially as camp is ending this week. We'll kind of be able to move in and reorganize and set up the space a little bit better. So we would love volunteers to come out from CWIO. We'll organize a day for that. So maybe Roxy can share details.
Okay.
Get that set up.
Okay. So we'll get a day and we'll get that info out. And if you can't make the day, just reach out to Liz. I'm sure she'd be happy to let you work on a different day also.
Thanks, Roxy.
Yeah.
Could you just say the day and time of the next meeting one more time, please?
Yes, it is September 25th. It's in person at the Hugo Nature Center from 3 to 6 p.m. The meeting really
Thank
be
you.
3 to 5.